Hi all, welcome to Tech Forum. In this video, let us learn about what is Adobe Experience Manager, also known as AEM. Most of the time, beginners will have this question. What is Adobe Experience Manager means? Adobe Experience Manager is a comprehensive web content management system for building and managing websites, assets and forms. AEM allows you to manage every aspect of the experience that your brand presents to customers across all digital channels. Adobe Experience Manager also simplifies asset management by giving you the ability to use all of your marketing assets in every digital channel. AEM is used by multiple large companies as their content management solutions. The biggest advantage of AEM is that simplifies the management and delivery of a website content. AEM makes it easy for professionals to manage all of their marketing content and assets and then deliver them to the right person at the right time. AEM enables simplified drag and drop based content authoring interfaces. Through that, the marketers can quickly configure the websites and deliver it for the end users without extensive technical knowledge. If you see this diagram, Adobe Experience Cloud is the comprehensive set of cloud services designed to give enterprises everything they need to deliver exceptional customer experiences. Comprised of Adobe Marketing Cloud, Adobe Advertising Cloud and Adobe Analytics Cloud. Adobe Marketing Cloud includes AEM as one of the component along with other components like Target for personalization and campaigns for campaign management. Let us now talk about some of the AEM capabilities. The first one is AEM Sites. This gives you one place to create, manage and deliver digital experiences across websites, mobile sites and on-site screens. Other one is DAM, Digital Asset Management. This gives you automation and smart tools to rapidly source, adapt and deliver your assets across audiences and channels. The other one is Forms. This is an end-to-end solution that connects your forms and communications processes, so you can give your customers a seamless journey from acquisition through retention. Then next one is Screens. This capability allows you to publish dynamic and interactive digital experiences and interactions involving different types of screens in conjunction with a comprehensive digital marketing platform. Other one is Communities. This capability helps you to create online community experiences including forums, user groups, learning resources and other social features that are valuable to customers, employees and your brand. Now let's talk about AEM technology stack. AEM runs on Java virtual machine. If you see here, that is the base, Java runtime environment, that is the base. It is kind of a Java based application. It's run on JVM. And it's built on like a different open source technologies and standards. So most of the technologies referred here are open source and standard based. OSGI, then REST framework. It uses Apache Sling. We can talk about that. Then again JCR repository. It's a standard based. It uses Apache Jackrabbit. Then Servlet Engine. It uses Eclipse Jetty. Here if you see the Granite platform is the key role player in AEM stack. This consists of different technology layers. This whatever we talked here: OSGI, REST, JCR, and Servlet Engine. Then the application services, then AEM product family, sites, asset, whatever we talked about. Then you can have your custom project code, like whatever your custom project code required, you can add on top of that. So now we talked about JCR repository here. AEM stores the content in JCR repository. So Apache Jackrabbit is used as a JCR repository. That is the implementation of JSR 170 specification. Apache Jackrabbit is an open source content repository for the Java platform. Then this supports various persistence options where the data can be stored, such as star files, MongoDB, Amazon S3, Azure Data Store. Multiple options are there to persist the data. The persistence layer should be selected based on your project need. Example like based on the number of content authors in the system, how much dynamic functionality you are enabling, and also like a content volume. Even other factors need to be considered before selecting this persistent layer. Maybe whether you want to go with the TRMK or the MongoDB or other data stores like Amazon S3 or Azure data store. Another one we have seen is the REST framework. So AEM uses Apache Sling as a REST framework to manage the content. Apache Sling is again a open source framework for the Java platform designed to create content centric applications on top of a JSR 170 compliant content repository. So we already seen that Jackrabbit is the Apache Jackrabbit is the 170 compliant content repository. What this links do is like this link maps the HTTP request, incoming HTTP request URLs to the actual content resources based on the request path, extensions, and different selectors. Now other one framework we are seeing here is OSGI framework. So OSGI means like Open Service Gateway Initiative. Again is a Java framework for developing and deploying modular software programs and libraries. It is different from the traditional Java program. Here it is a modular programming, like you can bundles, it is called as bundles here. So Apache like Felix, that is the open source implementation of the OSGI framework or specifications AEM is using. Now another one is like servlet engine. AEM uses open source Eclipse Jetty servlet container. Again Eclipse Jetty and Java HTTP server and Java servlet container. Again AEM can be deployed to any app servers, full app servers like WebLogic and Tomcat etc. But anyway, AEM don't require the capabilities of app servers. Only web server capability is enough, but still you can deploy to those app servers. Yeah, this comprises of the main technology stack, but in turn it used other technologies also. Already we talked about it's a Java runtime environment is based on. So you can use all the Java capabilities, whatever you want. You can integrate with the external system through HTTP client. Then you can write your all Java capabilities into the platform. You can customize. Now let's talk about some of the main AEM features. So these are all the main features, list of features, but these have more. I'm only covering a limited set of that which is required for the understanding. Now the first one is the template. The template is the main component in AEM. This defines the structure of the resultant page, like how the page is going to look like for the end user. That is called as template. Also, like in the template, we can configure any initial content and the components that can be used. The component is another one important element. We can talk about that. So in template, you can say what components can be used. Also, like we are here, if you see, like I listed out two type of templates, editable and static. The editable templates allows the content authors to change the page layout. The responsiveness or like the layout can be changed by content authors, but static it is going to be a name itself says it's a static. Obviously, like editable template is the recommended template option. Yeah, the next one is components. AEM components are used to hold, format, and to render the content made available on your web pages. Author use the components along with the templates to create the website pages by adding the required content. So the content is enabled through these components. Now, as I already told, templates are the structure. Then the structure is filled with these components and enable the enable the required content. Yeah, now we are here referring as a core components. The core components are set of out of the box production ready standardized components to speed up the website development on AEM. The core components can be directly used, or if you require you can extend also. Yeah, the next one is workflows. AEM workflows allows you to automate a series of steps that are performed on like pages and or assets. You can automate the either like if you say like you want to implement the approval workflow, only the contents would be published after approval. So those scenarios can be built through the workflows. Now the next one is multi-site manager, or called as MSM. This provides the flexibility to empower organizations to create sites for different countries, markets and regions, languages. We can use the same site content or specified content. You can organize multiple sites. That sites may be specific to country specific, or region specific, or language specific. This will the MSM capability will allow you to manage that those sites easily. Now the next one is content / experience fragments. This is another important feature. It enables you to reuse the content and experience across multiple websites. You can create the content or experience once, and whenever required you can reuse across other websites. Now the next feature is the SPA, single page application support. AEM supports Angular and React based single page applications. Obviously there is a SPA editor, single page application editor in AEM, that allows you to edit the content, the single page application content through same whatever we talked dialogues. Now the next one is STL. This is the HTML template language. This is the preferred and recommended server-side template system for HTML in AEM. The components are built based on this HTML template language. Now next one, like Sling models, servlets. You can build servlets, expose servlets. Then you can expose services, all based on OSGI specification. You can define event handlers, and if you want you can define event jobs also. So here let me talk about Sling models. This is a POJO. You can define a POJO, which are automatically mapped from the Sling object, typically resources or request object. We already talked about the Sling, the REST framework. The resources are the URLs are mapped to resources. So where the Sling models will help you to map those resources or requests into a POJO, so that whenever you want to write some logic for a page, you can use these Sling models. Sling models can be used by STL components to apply custom logic. Then the next one is the content service. Obviously this is another important. This provides a set of capabilities to simply expose the content within AEM via API endpoints to other channels in JSON format. So it can expose the content through JSON endpoint. This is the gateway for the headless CMS behavior. So through this, you can reuse the content wherever, whichever channels you want. Also different systems can consume AEM's content. Now another one is translation. This automate the translation of page content, assets, and user generated content to create and maintain multilingual websites. So this is a guidelines or framework. It will allow you to automate the translation process. Next one is personalization. There is various AEM specific personalization components are there, implemented through Context Hub within AEM. So whenever required you can enable those personalization. Also AEM can integrate with Adobe Target, that is a external personalization engine. Now another one is authoring dialogues. This is important because a lot of times people get confused. See, authoring dialogues is the one allows the author to produce the content. Every component will have a dialogue. Dialogue means it is a UI. It will give you the option to enter the content. Through this authoring dialogues, the authors are going to fill the content. So this is nothing to do with the end user. This is only for authoring authors. So they can use it and fill the content for every component. So here Granite UI, that is the foundation UI framework AEM uses to build. Again, it is a touch UI enabled UI. The author will be using this to manage the website content. That also in author environment. We'll talk about what is that author environment. So it's only for author environment. Now the next one is style system. Style system allows you can implement a visual variations of a components without backend development. means you can reuse the AEM components without having a multiple developing a multiple component for every style change. You can use the style system. Style system will help you to use the same component and apply the style variations for every different site. Now another one is client libs. This is more developer perspective. This allows you to produce client-side JavaScript and CSS libraries. Here this JavaScript and CSS are grouped with the name client libraries. So you can use the client libraries in the website. So that will provide the required JavaScript and styling. So this will again allow some enable some features like minification, concatenation. You can concatenate multiple JavaScript CSS into a single client library. Finally, it will be a single file to the browser. So each client library has one single file. So you can concatenate multiple file. Then again you can easily manage the dependencies also. Now the next one is overlays. So overlay means taking the predefined functionality. AEM has some predefined functionality. Let us say some UI, AEM specific admin UI, or AEM specific some functionalities. AEM has some component that has some standard functionality. So what you can do is you can impose your own definitions over that to customize the standard functionality. So you can overlay any of the system specific component and provide your own implementation. So wherever required. But you need to be careful. Some of the overlays may cause problem during upgrade, but yeah, we need to use this functionality carefully whenever required. Now the another one is project dashboard. This project dashboard to manage projects through a central environment. You can manage the projects, you can manage the task, assets, everything from a central environment as a project. Yeah, so these are all some of the main capabilities, features, but you can read through more. Now another one is this is the AEM deployment topology. So if you see here, there is a multiple components here. One is AEM author, another one is AEM publish, then another one is web server along with the dispatcher module. So then obviously you can use the load balancer. Then finally there is a CDN. So some of the names we already touched. So let's talk about that. What each component refers. The first one is the author, AEM author. The author, this is a author environment. This provides the mechanisms for creating, updating, and reviewing this content before actually publishing it. So here the authors will create the content or manage the content through this author environment. An author creates and reviews the content any type of content. Let's example pages, assets, publication, etc. Whatever. At some point, right? It will be published to your website. Maybe you may need to do some approval process or whatever. So once the content is ready, it will get published to your it should be published to the website. So technically it will go to the AEM publish. Let's talk about what AEM publish will do. Yeah, now we already seen the author, the content author works in this author environment. This provides the easy interfaces for creating the content. We talked about those authoring dialogues. Those all will be used in the author instance to generate the content. Then next one is the publish environment. So whenever the content is ready in author environment, reviewed and everything is ready and it can go finally to the website, the content is published to the publish environment. Here the website pages are made available to the external or intended audience in accordance with the look and feel of the designed interface. So this is the actual server. The publish server is going to serve the content for the external user or the intended users. Now, yeah, if you see here, so another layer is the web server along with the dispatcher. So why web server along with the dispatcher is a module on the web server. Either you can use Apache or IAS, I think the supported web servers you can use it. The dispatcher module provide the functionality specific to AEM. This is the Adobe Experience Manager caching and load balancing tool module. This dispatcher. Also, the dispatcher helps you to protect your AEM server from external attacks by enabling the security rules. So three functionality, main functionality. One is like caching, then second one is load balancing, then obviously third one is security filters. Now if you see the next one is load balancer, this is known, like you can use the load balancer to like balance the traffic between different servers. Then another one is CDN, content delivery network. You can use this for like enabling providing better performance for the distributed websites. It will cache in a edge networks. Will provide better performance. This is are like mandatory, but most of the live sites will have this layers, load balancer and CDN. Now here it's a very like limited architecture, but when you go to a production, you may need to have more components, like let's say like maybe more than one author based on your authoring requirement and the how many authors are authoring the content, and also like based on your functionality, maybe you may have some dynamic functionality too. So static functionality, if everything is static, so most of the things will be cached within the CDN and web server layer. The request won't reach to publish most of the time. That should be okay. But if you have some dynamic functionality, then obviously you need to think about increasing your AEM publish either capacity, or you need to horizontally like scale it. Now if you see these deployment, some of the deployment options, right now there are multiple options. One is the on-premise installation. You can install this setup in your on-premise network. Then another one is AMS managed installation. What does that mean is like Adobe managed service, that is called as AMS. Adobe itself manage the platform in cloud, means external clouds, means AWS or Azure. That is called as AMS, but all management is done by Adobe AMS. Now another one is like cloud installation, means you can install this setup in your own cloud, like either directly to AWS or Azure, not through this Adobe AMS. So directly you can install. So that is another option. So the last one is the recent one is AMS cloud native installation. So AEM now introduced the cloud native installation. So now this is the latest option. This is the maybe the future option to consider. This is a kind of a native cloud option, so you don't want to think about much on the upgrade, because normally the upgrade will take a long time in AEM to do a major version upgrade. This AEM as a cloud service will provide all native cloud functionalities. Okay, let us now talk about some of the AEM benefits. There is a lot of benefits. I'm just talking about some of the things. Also there is some obviously pros and cons. I'm only talk about the benefit here, so you can read through other material on different details. So the first one is easy to manage and deliver the website. So we already talked about this authoring dialogues, authoring environment, so all those things. So this allows you to easily the authors to easily manage and deliver the website. Now again, it's built based on open source standards and technology. We talked about OSGI, Apache Sling, Apache Jackrabbit. So a lot of open source technologies. Also, like non-technical marketers can manage the website content easily and quickly, because it will provide every component will provide a dialogue, authoring dialogue. The developer should be enabling those dialogues, but while making the content, marketers can easily use that dialogues and manage the website content. Now it will enable the digital experience for multiple channels. The content can be used across multiple channels. Then we talked about that content services. This enable headless CMS experience through content service. It has a built-in DAM, the digital asset management. It has a lot of advanced features too. Then easily integrate with Adobe Marketing Cloud, within the Adobe Marketing Cloud, because AEM is part of the Adobe Marketing Cloud. It has other tools like Target, Campaign, and all other tools. It will easily integrate with those tools, and also it can now integrate with Adobe Creative Cloud also. Yeah, the out of the box components, we already talked about this core components. This reduces the development effort and cost, because this is the production ready component. Lot of best practices are already followed, like accessibility, SEO. You can right away use those components to build your site. If you want to extend, you can extend, or you can build your custom components also. Then now it's a AEM as a cloud service is enabled, native cloud feature that can be used. Now even you can preview your content before making live. In author instance, you can view the page as a published, means live. Like it will give the same look and feel how this page is going to look for the live users. Obviously, it's provide a scalable solution for large organization, because we talked about the deployment topology. You can have, like, based on your requirement, you can build your topology to serve like high volume websites. Now workflows, that's other important benefit. Like you can automate lot of process, the content asset management process through these workflows. It will allows you to do personalization, translation framework is there, then multi-management, multi-site management capabilities. Other one is project dashboard to manage projects through a central environment. You can use the project dashboard to manage those project tasks and project content and everything through the centralized dashboard. Also, like you can have multiple sites through a single platform and components. So you don't want to develop, based on your requirement, you can develop different set of components or templates, but it can support. If your requirement is same, only the styles are going to be different or content is going to be different across website, like a single component set can be used. Obviously, single platform can support multiple website. Even though it is a different website, it can support it. You can even enable integration with by e-commerce platform. Not only with e-commerce platform, even you can integrate with the external systems, because it's again Java based framework. You can enable REST based integrations and whatever required based on your use cases. It will support the single page applications. Right now React and Angular based single page applications are supported. Then again the another benefit is like content reusability through content experience and experience fragment. You can create the content once and then you can reuse it across multiple websites. Yeah, this concludes the video. We talked about what is AEM, what technology stack it is using. Then we talked about what is the deployment topology. Then talked about the benefits of AEM. Thanks all for watching the video. See you in the next video.